Are you somebody who is talented at their craft, perhaps an expert in what you know, but you are trapped inside a workplace, a job, a system that does not define your full potential? Perhaps you have been giving it away for free. Perhaps you have been performing and you have a system that works and you feel really good, but you are missing the opportunity here. You are missing the key layers of what is actually happening. Now, with digital products, we have this ability to take what we know, package it into something one time, and sell it thousands of times. You do not have to trade your time for money. When you do this, you are creating an artifact. You are creating something that is now put out into the world for other people to find and learn from. Just like we post videos on Instagram and YouTube, we are able to share information with other people. But when we package that into a private paid container, like a course, community, digital product, a GBT, an engine, a guide, now we are having that information be sold to the market to help them save time, evolve faster, and build profitable businesses moving forward, where we are not relying on the structures of jobs paying us money. We're relying on the structures of the value that we are bringing to the table, helping ordinary people move forward. I created a Google Doc today sharing the importance of having a website because every time I get lost, what I do is I come back to my 10-year timeline, and we are now a year into that 10-year timeline. What is the timeline? It is 2025 to 2035. I decided to build backwards from a 10-year timeline. So we're in 2026 now. And whenever I get stuck, I ask AI questions about the future and I say, is this going to be relevant by 2035? And if it's not, we need to cut it. What are the timelines and what are the protocols and what are the boundaries that are required to get us to produce only things that are going to compound us moving forward? Intellectual property, writing books, creating your own frameworks, creating your own methodologies, creating names for things. That is just the surface layer. What actually is going to compound are connecting those things to problems that can be sold in the market, putting them into SaaS products, and really understanding and having extreme clarity for who is in our ecosystem. And if our target avatar changes to make that abundantly clear for our audience, and having doorways for them to enter if they are no longer the fit for the person we are talking to right now because we have evolved. Okay, so I'm going to share with you my screen. From 2026 to 2035, a website becomes more important because it is the owned infrastructure that connects your brand, search presence, AI discoverability, customer journey, proof, offers, and data. So here's the map. It is owned infrastructure. Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube, School, Linktree, Beacons, and other platforms are rented environments. They are interfaces, policies, algorithms, reach, and features that can change. Your domain is the stable address that you control, and this is what I tell my clients. As the tools evolve and change, we control the domain. We keep the domain and the architecture, and we are simply moving to a new building. We keep the address. If your business is a real front door and you are selling websites to real businesses, isn't your business also a real business? And doesn't your business also need a clean front door? Once you shift from creating to performing to making money to entrepreneurship to selling digital products to architecting to consulting, now we are at a different level of agency. We're building a real business. And if we want to get to this level, I think it's very important to have a clean front door. Does that mean we don't need to use link in bios? Does that mean we need to get rid of them? No, it does not mean that we need to get rid of them. It just means we need to understand what containment can become if we are able to interconnect all of the pathways of what we have created so far. And these are what funnels are essentially like. But I think that we have an opportunity now with AI-powered tools to create these websites a little bit differently. So they're not just template-based sites. They are sites connected to everything that we have created. And this is really powerful because it unlocks a new opportunity for founders where their links are now being turned into a seamless customer journey with layers. People are no longer asking where can I click or how many offers are in my store and how many I am going to sell today. It's creating this hierarchy for high-level business. High-level businesses do not put everything on display. A website lets you decide which offer is primary, which proof matters first, and what belongs in the deeper ecosystem, and what a first-time visitor should never have to think about. It gives search engines something sustainable to understand. Google still discovers, crawls, renders, and indexes pages, and the site owners can control how their content is structured and made accessible to search through the right keywords. It gives you structured data. Websites carry machine-readable information about businesses, service, events, products, jobs, local business details, and more. Google can explicitly support structured data to better understand page content and power certain enhanced search experiences. So when you have a website, not only are you going to be more searchable by Google, but you're going to be more searchable by AI and you're going to be found. We don't want to be searched, we want to be found. Or I think it applies to both. So, like search, somebody can search you through AI or Google and they can find you. And that is the goal. We want to be found through search. Correct myself there. So, this matters even more in an AI search world, which was the next number here. Search is moving beyond 10 blue links. Google is now explicitly publishing guidance for helping website content appear in generative AI features in search. So your site is becoming source material for these machines. And this is the 2026 to 2035 shift I would like to talk about heavily here because humans are no longer the only audience reading the web. Search crawlers, AI retrievable systems, assistants, agents, and recommended systems increasingly need clear public information to understand what a business is and does. OpenAI's search product, for example, uses web sources and links users back to source material. It gives you a canonical version of your business. Your bio can say one thing, your LinkedIn can say another, your podcast can say something else. It's no longer just having the same message on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. It's having a connection of all of those layers because as people develop more SaaS products, more tools, this is going to be so difficult for these systems to understand what we do. And when you have a clean website, it connects all of these through backend infrastructure. And there's more going on behind the scenes that you can't see. It's giving AI and search systems cleaner context. That is why things and people started showing up in my reality once I started operating on a clean website, because not only was it giving clarity to Google and my Instagram and my YouTube, but it was giving clarity to the market and people searching. While it's going to take some time for me to be indexable through AI, I have been understanding how this process works, and it is now becoming clear for me and easier for my clients to go down that path as well. It's going to compound. A reel is going to disappear in 24 hours to 48 hours. YouTube is going to compound. A website is going to compound. It's going to be there. It's like a building that never leaves. It lets your reputation accumulate in one place. It reduces credibility friction because we want to have an understanding of our credibility. We don't want to be seen in the way that we are not showing up right now with our clients and building businesses. We want to be seen not as a creator, but as a business owner. And how the easiest way to do this is proof, credibility, trust on a clean website. It pre-sells people before the call, so people already understand what you're offering. People are coming to me now. People that I used to work with, people that are in my life, they are now coming to me, sending me DMs, asking me about my business, how they can work with me. And this is going to happen because you are becoming more clear. It improves qualification. Instead of every visitor entering the same link list, it routes different buyers towards consulting, a program, a resource, an application, a product, or service. It gives each offer its own context. A $20 product and a $20,000 service should not necessarily receive the same amount of explanation or have the same path. Websites let you build appropriate sales environments around each. It supports higher ticket selling. The more expensive or complex the purchase, the more valuable clarity, proof, explanation process, and trust is required. It communicates sophistication. If somebody is doing 100K months or more, has multiple programs and a team, but their business profile and infrastructure is still 7 buttons on a generic page, there can become a visible mismatch between the scale of the business and the presentation of it. It makes referrals easier. You can go to creativepresentsystem.com, you can go to mybusiness.com, and it is cleaner than explaining which Instagram account, Linktree, application, YouTube, platform. You just tell them your domain, and on the domain, there's a link where they can give a review on your socials. It lets you personalize paths. It supports booking transactions. It becomes operational interface, not just marketing. And by 2035, I think this becomes more important because a website can increasingly act as the public-facing interface to the actual system and business behind it. It connects marketing to operations, reduces platform fragmentation, makes analytics more meaningful, creates first-party relationships. It gives local businesses a stronger ecosystem with Google. Verified Google business profiles can appear in search and maps, and businesses can add links that help customers take actions like learn more, booking, or ordering. And service businesses can also start thinking like founders, not to confuse the market, but if this is already how they are starting to think because of AI and digital tools, it makes a website and a strong digital presence and connected system even more important. It supports local search context. It lets your Google presence and website reinforce each other. It works on mobile while still giving you depth. Your domain can survive interface changes. The internet may look radically different in 2032, and your homepage might eventually be interacted by more AI agents than browsers, but an own domain and a structured public information will remain useful even when interfaces change. It makes your business portable. It separates your brand from your software stack. It prevents tools from becoming the brand, like Find Me on School, Find Me on Beacons, Linktree, platforms from becoming the brand. It's a clean digital presence. It increases perceived permanence, supports your brand search growth, gives PR, podcasts, speaking collaborations, and media into one place to send people. It creates context around viral attention. If one reel suddenly gets 500,000 views, your website gives that traffic somewhere meaningful to go. It prevents growth from creating confusion. Ironically, the more successful somebody becomes, the worse an unstructured link page can often get because it keeps adding more things to it. It creates a scalable information architecture where offers, divisions, resources, products, client types, and team members can be incorporated into existing hierarchy instead of piling into a list. It lets you deliberately hide complexity. And this is one of my strongest ideas because a sophisticated business should have enormous complexity behind the interface. And this is why I think simplicity is now becoming a skill in the next decade. It's not having more, it's knowing what to cut so we can have simpler doors and keep the complexity behind those doors. So people don't feel that we don't have the value. They know we have the value. They're just understanding where to move along the customer journey because imagine somebody comes in, they find your business on maybe Google Maps, they find it on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. They're going to be at a different like level of consciousness based on where they find you. Maybe they have a different purpose for finding you, different intention. Maybe they want something fast. A website is going to provide that clarity and connection between all of the platforms. So it's going to force business clarity. Building a real site exposes fuzzy positioning quickly, and it exposes fuzzy positioning for the business owner too, for the founder. If you have been creating courses and you have not sold any yet, or if you've been creating courses and you have so many and you don't understand structure, A to Z positioning, a website's going to help you become almost forced into that structure where you're going to know immediately, wait a second, this doesn't make sense, and it's going to rewire your customer journey. It can become a map of the business itself. It creates platform for authority. It helps team members understand the business. It becomes a recruiting asset, and so forth. I have many here. We're almost done. Makes partnerships easier, creates continuity, holds multiple levels, prevents audience whiplash, makes succession and easier and transfer easier. An own brand infrastructure can become part of a transferable company asset. So maybe 2020 was about building an audience, 2026 to 2035 is about building infrastructure around the audience that you have already earned and the people that are coming in now. I was deeply confused online because of credibility. So, what does credibility mean to you? If you're an artist or performer, your creative work is your credibility to become a performer and a teacher of that craft. If you are switching lanes and you are now an entrepreneur or consultant or entrepreneur, your credibility as an artist can be translated to another domain, but it doesn't necessarily create credibility in that new domain. That is what you have to create now. So, this has been abundantly clear for me in the past 2 weeks where I was confused where to communicate. And now it makes so much sense because YouTube is upstream. When you communicate upstream on YouTube, you can have clarity. And even if you're using transcripts or slides to get the message out there, you are now becoming clear. And when you become clear, everything downstream becomes clear. That means Instagram and TikTok and Facebook all make sense because you're taking your long form message and now compiling it to a short form context. It's like telling somebody what you do in one sentence. Why you can't do that is because you haven't taken the time to fully communicate and understand your business on a deep level. That's why the short form platforms are not bad, but they can create fragmentation if we do not have that original clarity. When we have repetition as like an artist or a performer, we do the tricks over and over and over and we post the videos over and over. So that creates repetition. When you are creating repetition for like long form speaking, building a business, teaching people on Zoom, we need that long form content in order to understand how to build on short form. And this is my thesis for the Creative Presence system, from online brochure to digital headquarters to customer routing system to machine readable business infrastructure. You can apply to work with me today. You can book a call in the description, and you can also fill out a short form. And if you fill out the form, what I do is you do not have pressure to book a call. I give you a free opportunity review and I tell you a few leaks that you have right now in your current digital presence and how we can fix them. And I give you a few tips. If you download my free lead magnet, what it is, it's a two-part customer journey where you're going to have access to a trained AI operator that's going to ask you specific questions about your current digital presence. And it's going to be basically me in the form of an operator guiding you through the path. And you're going to get access to a simple quiz that you fill out to figure out where you're stuck and what you can do to change your digital presence today.